Do an intro video. That would be sick for these.
Mm.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Super excited to knock out another one of these episodes. If you've watched our lives, the idea was, I think we've gone 2 months now. Jen, you would know. How long have we been doing this? For 2 months now? Holy smokes. That's crazy. So about 2 months ago, the leadership group on our brokerage team that's nationwide, we came together and we said, hey, how do we help more people get more training so we can lower the failure rate? So we took our leadership group that's all over the nation. There's 8 of us that are training realtors, that have recruited realtors, that are helping on the back end side. And we said, let's just take weekly topics, put them in front of everybody, and then we can do a Q&A for about 30 minutes on a weekly basis. And so now we've been at this for 2 months, which is super fun. Today, we got a whole lineup. We're going to talk about the Arizona event that just happened a couple days ago. We're going to talk about the new brokerage team members that have joined our team. We also run a book club that Tina runs out of California in our leadership group. We're going to talk about that because it's a new month. We're also going to mention the Tuesday call, which we have a big announcement for, and then the monthly YouTube video. Weekly YouTube video. Anyways, good morning, everybody. We got Leonard out in Tennessee joining us today. We got Israel and Jen out in Arizona. Good morning.
Good morning.
Leonard, I saw somebody post the other day that you're still getting snow. Are you still getting snow, or is it just because you got so much snow that everybody's posting about it?
We actually just got some more last night. It heated up to like 40 yesterday, so everything started melting. And then I go out this morning, and there's just snow all over the ground again. I'm like, what the heck?
You're like, what is this white stuff all over the ground? Has it ever snowed in Arizona? Israel and Jen, do you even know what we're talking about?
They actually have a really cool picture. It was about maybe 7 years ago. Snow up in the Superstition Mountains. So we went and hike it, and you can see the snow in the mountains right there, and then you can see the desert behind. It's actually pretty cool. And then it snows up north.
7 years ago?
Yeah, if no more. I got to look at the picture. Might be 10, dude. Yeah, it's a cool picture there.
It's too hot there. You guys need to move to St. George or Knoxville. Get out there.
It was 83 yesterday, man. It was beautiful.
Oh my God.
Holy smokes.
Like middle of summer over here.
Yeah, middle of summer. Jeez Louise. Okay, well let's crank through this. So let's introduce the newest team member to our brokerage team. I've known Jacob for probably over 2 years now. I coached him one-on-one for a while, and then what was it, 2 weeks ago, Leonard? 2-3 weeks ago, it was before the mastermind. He reached out and he said, hey, what are you guys doing in Utah? Because he had come to Door Con before. And I was like, yeah, any coaching client I've ever coached or any brokerage team member, these are all free. You're welcome to come. And he bought his ticket that day, came out. And I don't think did you meet him last time he came to the Door Con event?
No, I didn't meet him in person, but I've known him just through, talking and all that other stuff.
Cool. Yeah, so Jacob's a stud. If you're watching this and you're out in Chicago, that's where he's at. Great family man, great husband, great father, and also a really, really good realtor. He's had his license for a couple of years. And when he came to the mastermind, it was more so he just loved the culture. And I think that's a reoccurring theme. If you're watching this and you want to come check out our team, the best way to check that out to see if we're all real humans is to come to one of our quarterly masterminds. That's completely paid for, no dime on your end, besides getting the travel out to the event. That's a great way to get to know our brokerage team. So anyways, welcome, Jacob. Super excited. Our team is now in Chicago, which means we have more reasons to go see the Bulls play. So I'm definitely not going to complain if we have to do a seminar out there every 2 weeks. Just throwing that out there.
That's probably the only reason you got him in the team, be honest.
That's the only reason. I gave him an under-the-table deal to come over just so he could go to
sign up bonus.
Yeah. Well, I actually went out to Chicago last year with Paige Steckling and Tessa Bella. We did a in-person seminar, and he was there. But we got there at night, and then we had to get in a minivan and travel through the night to go to Louisville. And so I didn't really get to hang out in Chicago. I was kind of bummed. So team mandatory meeting. We're going out to Chicago here soon.
Which a lot of people probably don't know, but I'm actually from Chicago. And
right.
where Jacob lives, I grew up about 10 minutes down the street.
Oh,
So
wow.
Cool.
I know a lot of people that, he knows up over there, and we're pretty close on that area. So it'd be pretty cool to go up, hang out with him. And then I got a bunch of friends and family back home. So it'd be good to go see them.
Hang out with him, see family, go to a Bulls game, and then maybe we work at the end, right?
Maybe.
So, anyways,
You have
welcome
to
to
write it off.
welcome to the team, Jacob. Yeah, Israel, can you back up a little bit? Can you stand up for us? Is that the I Knock Door shirt you got on? Let's go.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Shout out to Sam
There you
Tagger.
go.
These are cool shirts we got at the Mastermind.
Oh, yeah.
They're so cool. Okay, well, let's transition. Let's talk about the Tuesday call. So big announcement. For the past 2 or 3 months, we've been running these free worldwide trainings for realtors for 30 minutes. We had the goal for a while to get over 100 people, and we just crossed over it. Woo woo! So we got 100 realtors in there. I think we got a couple from Australia. We've got a lot of Canadians and a lot of those in the US. And Pua, who's in Arizona, who came to our event a couple days ago, was our 100th member. So we sent her $100 via Venmo, which is really cool. Our next target is 250 realtors. We're going to give out $250 to that person, whoever that is, whenever we hit it. But really, this is a free call. I mean, it's completely free. If you're a realtor and you're watching this and you want to get free access to this type of training once a week for 30 minutes, I mean, we're having realtors that are going back, applying it, and they're putting deals under contract. That's all we do on these calls. So you take a realtor that has closed a deal on a certain prospecting method, we train on how to replicate it, and then we give a $100 incentive to whoever can do it the fastest. So it's a super fun call. And we already have a couple of realtors that already have, because we talked about FSBO and expireds, we already have a couple of realtors that already have multiple signed expired deals from that call. Frankie just put 3 listings or signed 3 listings that were all expireds. And a lot of the training just comes from these free calls that we do. So anyways, any main takeaways from you guys in regards to this specific training from Tuesday?
Yeah, I will say one thing for sure about talking about Frankie. He actually called me on, I think, a couple of days ago. And not only he did what you're teaching right here on the festival and expires, but also, for example, he was having a bad day that day, going through some stuff. So he's like, I didn't reach my goal of contacts. So he dialed at 7:30 at night, I think it was 7:45, and he made the appointment 8:00 at night. And we were having that conversation, right? And you talk about that quite a bit on our trainings. It's not just having the goal and doing this, but taking the actions, and also making sure that if the goal was for that day, then make sure that we try to accomplish somehow. And that's what he did. That's what I told him. I was like, if he didn't call, this would not happen. Maybe that was the only time, this client could have answered the phone, you know what I mean? Because he said it was a really quick phone call and made the point for the next day, went over, signed it over. So it's not just having the goal, but taking the actions, and also even making sure that you fulfill your goal for that day. So I was pretty impressed by him.
And I would say a couple things too, because when I was working with, Coach Frankie's in the one-on-one coaching as well, separate from the brokerage team. And what I was telling him was, one, kind of like what you were mentioning, if that was your goal for the day, then you stay up late and you're going to hit that goal. Realtors, if they have the mentality that they let one day slip, then now it's okay that they can slip again and they can slip again, right? Like, we're all human. We're all going to have bad days, off days, whatever. But the second time you make it happen again, it's now a decision and a choice. And so I told him, I was like, you got to hit that. So I'm glad you had that conversation too. And the second thing was, he wasn't, before, when he would go on expired appointments, he wasn't taking the contracts. So I told him, I said, no, take the contracts. And if it's a good conversation, close the deal. And you already have the contract, so you don't have to worry about it. So he took it and they signed. And that's a beautiful thing about expireds. They come off the market and they're ready to go. They want to hire, most of them want to hire another realtor. And if you have the paperwork and you know what you're talking about, boom, sign. And so now he'll get these back on the market, and they should go pretty quick, because now they'll be better priced and he'll have a better marketing plan. So if you're a realtor and you're not doing FSBO and expireds, make sure you pump through these, because this is the lowest hanging fruit. These people have their hands up. They're ready to go. You just have to overcome super simple objections in order to move forward. For example, Leonard, I know you've been going at it for a minute. We talked about this on Tuesday, and someone had asked, hey, what if they say, oh man, you're like the 100 millionth realtor to call me? And we talked about the 1-line, 2-liner objection handler to overcome that. Leonard, what would you say if you called me, I'm an expired, I said, hey, yeah, sorry, man, you're like the 100th realtor. I don't want to talk to you. What's the 1-liner to overcome that?
Well, the 1-liner I usually say is like, yeah, I totally understand. Realtors are the worst. That's why I waited so long to call you, because I pretty much just let all the bad ones call first. And then I call you later on and try and actually help you.
Perfect. Yeah, it's that simple, guys, right? You say, yeah, realtors are the worst, aren't they? Pause. And they laugh, they agree with you. And what it does is it calms them down. It brings down the buying pressure so that you can then move forward. So again, that's really all it takes. They're super simple in order to get listings and buyer deals out of these. So if you're not calling these, make sure you call them. If you're not in this group, then comment 100K in 90 days or worldwide free training down below wherever you rewatch this. And one of us from the leadership group will get you the link so we can join it or add you to the group and then get you the email out. Okay, let's go to our next topic. So the next topic for today is the YouTube video. So if you haven't watched this, go back and watch it. But we just had our weekly YouTube video come out, and it's on emotional regulation. Reason we talk about this, if you're not watching these, there's a 12-week video series for Q1 of this year in regards to how to go build up a business that makes $500,000 on repeat per year. And one of the topics, number 4, is emotional regulation. Now, obviously, you guys can talk on this because you've been with me for a minute. Leonard, you've been with me for the longest. But this is probably like the most frequent topic that I bring up all the time. And I actually had someone DM me the other day, and she was saying, I'm so grateful that you coach this way because almost no one in the real estate industry coaches on this. And it's such an important topic because almost every realtor really struggles with this. And to me, this is what leads to the failure rate. And there was an article in the YouTube video that I talked about, and it said that most entrepreneurs fail X amount their first year, then 5 years, then 10 years. And it gave a list of reasons, and usually lack of cash is like the number one. But every article I could find, none of it mentioned emotional regulation. I was so surprised. So that's why we did an entire episode on this topic. So I'm going to go find that comment because it's really cool. Anybody have any thoughts in regards to this topic or what you've experienced over the time that you've worked with me?
Yeah, I'll go. I think like the realtor that you just said of how like you're the only person that teaches, like I'm going to totally agree with that because that was what drawed me to you. So then I can be like, yes, I want to be coached by Jeremy because honestly, for me, that's the most important part because if I'm not feeling my best, like how am I going to show up the best for my clients as well too? Or how am I going to show up my best when I'm prospecting as well too? So it was like, for me, it was a big takeaway as in like, oh my gosh, I got to learn how to regulate my emotions so then I can go and get deals basically.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, sales is a transfer of energy, right? With your clients. And so if you don't have the energy because you're just not enjoying life and you're not on cloud 9 consistently, you won't transfer that energy and you won't prospect for new business. So you get stuck.
Yeah. And sales, it's just so like emotionally draining. And one thing I learned from you is that we have a tank of an emotional energy, right? And every time if you're door knocking, if you're cold calling, expires, FISBOs, doesn't matter what it is, every single call or door you go to, that tank goes lower and lower and lower and lower. And the game is all about regulating that. How can I use my emotional tank most effectively throughout the day? And then how do I recharge for the next day?
Yep.
So that's one of the biggest takeaways I've taken away from all your emotional training, the YouTube video. And then like the other thing, dude, it's like the books you recommend. It's like nobody else is recommending you go read these books. It's just different.
Yeah, I would say, and the reason I talk about this all the time is I have to deal with this, right? Because I've been in sales for so long, I've understood or come to understand that my relationship with my spouse has to be in a good position. And if it's not, I have to go to counseling. And the counseling will help me understand that that relationship needs to be solid or I can't go perform at the highest level. And because I've just been in it so long and my emotional swings will come, but like you guys will see, like I'll have these like frustrating spurts, but then I can come back and I can rebound quick because of the processes that I have in place. And if you don't have those, then that frustration leads into 4 days, 10 days, 2 weeks, a month. And you'll see these realtors come and have these good months, but then they disappear for a couple weeks, or they come back, but then they disappear. It's because they can't rebound quick enough. And like Leonard, you had mentioned, they're just not reading the books that help them acquire the skill set to be able to overcome that. So anyways, if you haven't read any of those books or you haven't watched this YouTube video, it lays out the entire process. There's 3 things that you have to do to regulate your emotions. You have to understand your baseline state, how to get in peak state performance, and what happens if you're in your off state. And if you're in your off state, there's a whole process to rebound quick so you can come back into it. Okay, many other thoughts on this? Thanks a ton, Leonard and Jen, for chiming in. Okay. All right, well, let's keep going. All right, so we just wrapped up our first in-person seminar for 2026, which is super fun. We got a ton of these lined up. We probably will spend quite a bit in Chicago. So you'll see us there quite a bit during the NBA season. But yeah, let's talk about this. So Jen and Israel, they hosted this event. The picture is all the sponsors that we had. We had insurance, we had home inspections, we had title, we had a mortgage lender, all help us put on this event. And we spent the entire day basically together. So talk to us about how that went.
Yeah, that was great.
Sorry.
I think that I'm going to have to buy a season ticket for the Suns so I can get you down here more often now, because I'm going to be competing against Chicago, man. That's going to be tough.
No one wants to see Phoenix, dude. But Chicago, we'll go to the. I'm just kidding.
Oh man, I'm in trouble now. No, I think it was great. This is my second event, but actually third event. Yeah, so it was great. I think that the one thing that we did different this one that I think people liked it. It was we normally do the training, door knocking, but then we put in the investor session part. So we walk a potential flip, and then we walk a finished flip that I have and probably get under contract here today, hopefully. So it was, yeah, to me it was great. A lot of great information. You know that the event is good when the sponsors are taking notes. You know what I mean? Like they were taking notes, not just a realtor. So that was something that I was surprised. And Tessie, she was, I was sitting in the back with her, and she was talking to me and said, "Oh, we can do this, we can do that. I should do this." Like she was into it too. So it's a great event when besides the realtors, and we have a realtor who came for the second time because she was able to either achieve the goals or came close to achieve the goals. Last time she was at an event, and then she wanted to come back for more. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, what's cool is when you get the right sponsors are going to be active as well. So it goes both ways, right? So if you're in Arizona, these are incredible partnerships that you guys can set up. But even if you don't come to these events, in general, as a realtor, you should have key sponsors or partners like this that help you put on local events and grow your business. Like Tessie, for example, is an incredible example of if a realtor were to partner with the right title rep, the title rep can go do all the back end farming and data collection to save you the time so you can spend that prospecting. And then you get a mortgage officer like Kellen that can go and help you close the deal that will help you follow up with your clients. And then you have Riley come in on the insurance side so your deal doesn't blow up at the last second. And then obviously you can send out Kevin, for example, that does the home inspection. So as a realtor, if you have that entire base put together, your business will run just so much smoother. So after the event, what we did is we went and door knocked. So talk to us about that. And then we went and visited a couple fix and flips.
Yeah. So after the event, we all went to a home that is going to be a potential flip. And Israel actually walked us through the house and said, "Hey, look, this is about how much money I would put into this home. And I would do this, 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 and this, and this." And then at the same time, like from the marketing standpoint of attracting more investors, like Jeremy, I should say, was like, hey, look, here's how you make a really quick video of like wanting to put this out there to investors, to possible investors or possible like homeowners that are wanting to do this as well too. So it was really awesome. And then we went from that to door knocking. And when we went door knocking, there was actually one lady, she was like, oh yeah, we're actually thinking about selling our house and buying a new one. So Israel ended up getting like a really good lead as well too. So that was really good. And then we went to like, okay, at the end results, how does it look like? So then we went to one of Israel's listing and looked at a home that was actually recently remodeled and flipped. And then we also talked about, okay, how do you get your eyes? How do you market this very well as well to certain buyer's agent? And as a buyer's agent, what should you be saying? What should you be asking if your clients are interested in a recently remodeled home? So it was really awesome. And the girls that we had, or the group that we had, was actually like, they've asked like a million questions, and which was like really awesome. And we got to do like a lot of social media posts there as well too.
Yeah, and that's what's cool is, for example, Leonard, you've been to some of like the older seminars. Last year, I went to 17 different cities, and this is the second time or third time actually I've come to Arizona, but second time with Jen and Israel. And the progression, we're getting really good at being efficient and effective with our time with realtors, which is the most important thing. But what's cool about these events, the reason we've added door knocking and now we're adding investors and visiting fix and flips, the reason we're doing that is because we can be so hands-on, right? When we door knock, like Jen, you were talking about, we'll knock a door, we'll have a conversation, and then we walk down the driveway and then we stop. Okay, what did you guys see? Did you see me do this? What are your thoughts on this? Pull out your Google Maps. Do you see how we save this as a pin? Like, it's very, very hands-on. And then we go hit the next one and we come down and then we talk about it. Do you see how I pulled them out? Do you see how I turn their head? And so it's very hands-on. You can take a ton of notes. It's not this theory of you should go door knock, go do this. It's let me show you, and we're going to do this together. And then I think it was within 15 minutes, we got that lead that if Israel doesn't close, he's off the team, because that was the easiest deal I think I've ever ran into in my entire life, where they're going to sell because they've lived there. Do you guys remember? Was it 7 years? And they've had 3 kids and they're just outgrown the home. But what did we do to cause the curiosity is we said, hey, did you see what was going on with that purple house 4 houses down the left? And because she was so curious, she was just so interested in what was going on, that helped us kind of get around that, stay there longer, and then end up getting the lead. And do you guys remember the objection she threw at us when we knocked on the door? What was it?
Yeah, she came out really strong. Said, we're not buying anything. Like,
yeah.
And she had a, FYI, she had a no soliciting sign at the door. Yeah, you disarm her. Then it's funny because at the end of the conversation, after she gave us phone number, emails, and invited us for lunch the next day, she apologized. Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. But yeah, it was funny because most of the time people are not expecting a realtor at the door. I tell you that right now. Most of them like never.
Yeah, the phrase for that is so simple, right? If they're like, oh yeah, hey, we're not buying anything, it's like, oh hey, super sorry, we're actually doing something completely different. Do you get knocked a lot by pest control companies? That's all you have to say, and then they'll always be like, oh, yes, they're the worst. And solar, it's like, oh, solar, they're the worst. And then you just kind of let it sit, and then you're like, okay, yeah, I'm doing something completely different. Or you can do my favorite one, which I'll usually tell people when we're knocking. Watch, I'm going to do the hot tub joke. And then it works every time. They come to the door, they're heated, like, hey, we're not buying anything. It's like, oh, sorry, you probably didn't know what's going on. Did you not order the hot tub? And you pause, and they're like, hot tub? I'm like, I'm just kidding. That's the only joke I get for the day. And it works every time in every market that I've ever used it. So anyways, that was a blast. And then we went and, like Jen, you were saying, looked at a couple of fix and flips. And so then we talked about what's the pitch that you use when you go and door knock. And then also we did a couple of social media videos or how to go get the investors to then bring to those deals. So super hands-on. If we end up coming to your city this year, especially if you're in Chicago, because we're going to be there a bunch, but if we come to your city, these are very hands-on. This is not, we don't let the sponsors talk. We don't let anything happen about paperwork. There's no fluff. It's here's the training, and then we're going to go hold your hand and walk you through this together. So anyways, hopefully we come to your city. If you want us to come, comment down below on however you rewatch this. and we'll see if we can put it on the docket. Okay, let's wrap up. We're going to talk about book club real quick. If you guys want to unmute and chat about this, but on our brokerage team and in the coaching platform that I run, we prioritize education. You have to keep your learning ahead of your earning, and you have to really just outpace your paycheck with your education. If you don't do that, because you're not evolving and getting sharper, the marketplace always rewards you with how much value you bring. If you're not bringing much value because you're just not well educated, then that's probably why you're not doing a lot of deals. So let's talk about this. Leonard, you've obviously been with me for the longest, and this is something that I've always done from the get-go. But then Israel and Jen, you can chime in as well. This is the second book for the year that we're covering. Tina on the brokerage team, she's in California, part of the leadership group. She runs the book club. But this year or this month, the book is the 12-week year, Get More Done in 12 Weeks Than Others Do in 12 Months by Brian Moran. Anyone want to chime in about the book or just book club in general?
Yeah, so this book is kind of interesting how books are, because I read this book while listening to it maybe a couple of years ago, and honestly, I mean, I couldn't find a way to apply it, right? I don't think my mind was in the right place. So when you put it up to for the book club of the month, I'm like, I already listened to it. So I'm like, I was listening just it started on Monday, listening again, and it was so funny because the conversation that we're having right now, the way that my business is going, the business plans that I have in place. So now that book, it makes a lot more sense to me. Like this is the second or third book that happened the same thing. It happened with me on 10X with Grant Cardone. Like I was reading that book. I'm like, I have no clue what he's saying. Like, you know, I mean, you understand what he's saying, but I'm like, I didn't know how to apply it. But now that we are building, we're hunting, we're growing, like the information he puts right there, one that it caught my attention right out the get-go was the market rewards all those who take action on the ideas they have, right? Sometimes you have a lot of ideas, and that was me in the past. I will have a bunch of ideas, so I should do this, I should do that. But either I didn't have the way to execute them, or I didn't know how to. So now with our business plan, the way we're doing business in Arizona, the way we're partnering up with agents in other states, you being coaching, our coach and all that stuff, it was so much clearer to me. So it's kind of interesting because sometimes books, you recommend the books, but if for some reason that person, that agent is not that level, they might have a hard time understanding it. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to finish the book again now and kind of put it to practice a lot better. So
yeah, I love that. And that's why even like a spiritual sense, it's important to always read the scriptures every morning, because you're going to evolve. And because you're evolving, different verses will hit you differently at different parts of your life. Books are the exact same way. You could read a book, like you said, 2 years ago, it didn't mean anything, but now because you're in a different position, you're evolved, you have different responsibilities. Now the book will actually make sense. And the reason we're reading this for the first quarter is the first quarter's books are always about laying a foundation for the year, which is why we read the book last month, which is why we're reading this one. And we've got the one coming in March, but it's how do we establish a good foundation for the year? And part of that is if you can learn to be efficient with your time, you can get way more done this year than you would otherwise. For example, if you're trying to do 20 deals and it's going to take you all year, why not get to that halfway through the year? Well, if that's the goal, what would that require in order to get there? Well, maybe I can call one expired like Frankie did, get multiple listings out of it off of one call. Boom, there we go. So you start to think differently because you're efficient oriented and you've shrank the timeline versus making it longer. And if you do that, you end up procrastinating. That's usually when you miss your goal. So anyways, if you're in a group or a brokerage team and you guys aren't prioritizing your education, come over and check out our team. That is something that we do on the regular. We are constantly pushing. And like Leonard said earlier, if you watch any of my stuff, you're usually going to take a list of books from that. Like Leonard's starting to collect his library. You can't work with me and not have a personal library behind you. I mean, obviously Israel doesn't have a library yet, but that's only because he's been working with me for 6 months. So we don't put that past him. All right, well, let's wrap up for today. Thanks so much for watching this. And if you rewatch this entire episode, we appreciate you. These are all the free resources we can give you as a brokerage team. If you want to be a part of that book club and just follow along with us for the year, comment book club down below. If you want the top producer schedule workbook that we put together, comment schedule, or if you want the 2026 business planning book, comment planning. And then one of us will send you the YouTube video that recently came out. Watch that all the way to the end, comment on that video, and then we'll get you out the workbook. Thanks a ton for watching. We appreciate you. If there's anything that we can do, reach out to any of us. Our information will be in the show notes, and we're more than happy to help you for free. See how we can allow you to do more business in your market. See ya. Thanks a ton for watching.